Welcome back to another episode of Backyard Politics. I'm Nikki. By now, you've probably heard about the cop murdering George Floyd. I just wanted to let Twitter do the talking in this episode because I feel like there were some powerful statements made yesterday, and some even more powerful video came out about protests happening. So, Richard Medhurst, who is also known as Poppy Chuliman on his podcast, says Palestinians are facing what George Floyd faced, and it won't stop until the Zionist occupation is held accountable. White supremacy is terrorism. Imperialism is oppression. This is dehumanization of people of color. And then Sarah Abdallah wrote, the U.S. regime wants to lecture countries like Syria, Iran, and Venezuela about human rights while its police continue to blatantly murder unarmed African-American citizens at home and its military machine drops bombs on innocent civilians abroad. Justice for George Floyd. So, let me see. Sorry, my mouse is being weird. I'm not going to show the video of, hang on here. I'm not going to show the video of what happened because by now I'm sure that most of you have seen it, and it's very, very graphic. A man lost his life. But this is George Floyd. This is what happened. The cop sat on his neck with his knee pressed into his neck for 9 minutes while he said, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Sound familiar? This happens daily. And then cops wonder why the Americans get pissed off and start protesting and rioting. Well, when you lock us into a goddamn corner like wild animals, protests and riots are going to fucking happen. The cops are literally killing people in the streets. This is from Fiorella Isbell. She is with the Convo Couch. And yesterday the Convo Couch was in LA where the protests were happening. So it says, here's the LAPD running over black protester Luke, who was taken to the hospital. Yes, many people had been by the car. Yes, someone, not this man, threw a skateboard. This does not justify him speeding up. This is a hit and run by police and is inexcusable. And I'm going to take it back to the beginning so I can show you guys.
Whoa!
1 second.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! Whoa! Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!
That's a protester. The cop sped
Hey,
up.
did you guys hand me that? Thank you. Sorry, right behind you. Right behind your foot. Thank you, appreciate you.
See how the rioters and protesters actually treat one another? He fucking helped her out. They're all helping each other as the cop sped away.
Oh my god! We can't.
Someone call 911! Call 911!
I can't show that, you guys.
Later in the video, Fiorella says, what am I supposed to do? We can't call the cops. The cops are the ones that did this. It's just disgusting. Marianne Williamson wrote, I don't want to see one more congressperson or senator tweet about how they want to see justice done for George Floyd without calling for congressional hearings to get to the frickin' bottom of this. We don't need your pity, gentle people. We need your courage. This person, Simon Says, tweeted, I don't understand the argument that voting Biden is better because somehow Oh, I'm sorry. That one's not related. Well, it's still relevant. The primaries didn't push him left. Most of these by the book centrists move even further right in the general. So what past metric are you using to make this claim? Biden's responsible for a lot of this shit that's happening. The crime bill. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. He's a goddamn racist. He said there's something about, oh, what was the quote? He said something to the effect of poor kids are just as smart as white kids or something like that. I mean, this guy he's a fucking joke, okay? He spoke at Strom Thurmond's eulogy. There is Yellow Vest America wrote, "We need global riots, we need global strikes, we need a global revolution." And this is how the protesters were treated by Minneapolis 3rd Precinct Police. This is tear gas in the middle of a pandemic that gives you respiratory issues. They're throwing tear gas. They were firing rubber bullets into the crowd. This is just fucking disgusting. I mean, it's going to get so bad. This is not the end of this. It's going to get so bad. They're pinning us into a corner like we're wild animals. And then what other option do we have other than to fight back? This person, Caitlin Johnstone, wrote, "The brutal Maduro regime must cease the oppression immediately," being sarcastic, of course. But yeah, we talk about how we need to go into other countries and take them over because they have a bad leader, as we like to say. So we're going to spread democracy. Does this look like fucking democracy to you? Because it doesn't to me. W. Kamau Bell wrote, "Always remember that police bought Dylan Roof some Burger King after he murdered 9 black people. George Floyd was accused of forgery." Angela Duenas for Congress, U.S. House candidate for for California 29. "In the last 24 hours, 2 people have been shot and killed by Los Angeles law enforcement agencies alone. These are members of our community. It could have been us that were killed. These police and sheriffs need to be held accountable." And you would think that they would be, right? They were just fired. 4 cops were fired. That's it. They need to be on trial for murder because that's exactly what happened. They committed murder. And when you do a little research, you find that Biden's hopeful VP, Amy Klobuchar, as a prosecutor in heavily white Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar declined to go after police involved in fatal encounters with black men. She also locked up a 16-year-old black kid for life. Christopher Burns, a 44-year-old black man, was unarmed at his home in Minneapolis with his fiancée and 3 young children when the police arrived in response to a domestic violence call. The officers put him in a chokehold, and he died in the scene, according to medical examiner. In 2002, incident marked the 3rd killing of a black person by the city's police department that year, prompting local activists to stage rallies and demand that the 2 officers involved in Burns' death face charges. The focus of the community's anger was Amy Klobuchar, the up-and-coming attorney of Hennepin County, who had declined to prosecute police accused of using excessive force against black suspects. The article goes on to talk about that, and then it also brings up tough on crime prosecutor and how she liked to lock people up, not unlike Kamala Harris. They all stick together. All these cops stick together. They all have each other's backs. It's one fucking giant gang. An armed militia against the people. Let's let's see here. This article is a long read, so I didn't want to read the whole thing to you. Not one police prosecution, though. I want to highlight this. Klobuchar easily won re-election as county attorney on November 5th, 2002. 4 days before, Burns was killed when 2 Minneapolis police officers responded to a call from his Chicago Avenue home. Accounts differ on what happened. In a lawsuit against the officers and the city of Minneapolis, which settled for $300,000 in 2007, Burns' fiancée said that the police handcuffed Burns before beating and strangling him with an aggressive neck hold that fractured the cartilage around his throat. Among these witnesses was his 4-year-old daughter. Does that sound familiar? Isn't that just what fucking happened like 2 days ago? This is ridiculous. Police said Burns struggled violently for several minutes and that they responded with a sanctioned form of a neck hold. A lawyer for the officers later called the case a bad combination of circumstances for the guy, pointing to Burns' history of high blood pressure and heart disease as possible factors in his death. That's just like saying Eric Garner died of a heart attack because he was susceptible to it. That's fucking bullshit. They murder these people and they walk away with it because prosecutors and attorney generals and Congress people don't give a flying fuck because they work for their donors. They all have each other's backs. I really strongly encourage you to read this article. I'll link to it in the notes below. This is just, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. And the police cannot be treating protesters and rioters this way. It's fucking insane. So, I don't fuck with rapists, writes, shut the fuck up with the not all cops and not all white people every fucking time. It's getting old and you're missing the point. It's like thoughts and prayers, right, guys? Every time there's a school shooting. But that affects white people too, so maybe that's why there's more talk about it. This says, David Kaib, if you are more bothered by how people react to injustice than you are by the injustice, you are invested in oppression. There's a video that Johnny Tsunami from the Convo Couch posts that I'm going to see if I can find it really quickly. I thought I had it on here. He's with the Convo Couch. If I didn't just say that, I think I did. Well, let's see. I'm pretty sure if I go to his page, we'll just find it. Again, the Convo Couch always does great work, but they were in LA yesterday when all of this happened. Yeah, this is the video. So, this is graphic. I warn you ahead of time. But it's important that you see what is going on. So, again, that was a protester. So Mint Press had this article, and I don't know why they took it down, but I can't access it anymore. It says, as Chief Prosecutor Klobuchar declined charges against the cop that killed George Floyd. So it was a really good article. I'm not sure what happened, but I can't access it. I've tried. But yeah, that's what happened. And these cops continue to get away with it. So I really don't know where to leave off on this. We all need to be heard. This shit has to stop. I mean, for fuck's sake, look at this. Look at this. Protesters. Cops. Throwing grenades of tear gas at protesters. There were children at these protests, too. So, just because it's not happening in your neighborhood or your neck of the woods doesn't mean it's not happening here. This doesn't look like democracy to me. This looks like a third world country going to war. So, please be safe out there. Spread the word. Like this video. Hit the share button. Also, subscribe to this channel. And it's going to take all of us together, united, to defeat this kind of shit. Yeah, I don't know where to leave off on this. I apologize, but everybody please stay safe, and peace be with all of you. Medicare be with you.